I woke up this morning to news of the mom of a couple of young children who passed away. And, while news of any death just makes your heart feel like it's going flat. Young mothers, what do you do? There once was a colony of these little water bugs. There were quite a few of them, and they spent their time doing what these little water bugs did down at the bottom of the pond. They made their way kind of like this way and that way down in the muck and the mire at the bottom. They loved it, right? It's what they did. And all of a sudden, some of the little water bugs started to realize that their number was decreasing, and they couldn't exactly figure out why. So, one of the water bugs got all the other water bugs together and said, hey, let's make an agreement, each of us. The next time one of us feels this little tug, like away from the group, can we all agree that wherever we go, we'll come back and we'll tell the other water bugs what's going on? And they were all in. So the next day, the one that had the idea about the meeting, getting together, telling everybody else what was going on, that one starts to feel this tug away. And so it wanders off and it finds this little chute that's going from the ground there in the pond, and it climbs up this skinny little stalk, and it climbs underneath this other little growth and then over on top. And right there when it's on top, it falls asleep in the sun's just warming its little water bug body. It wakes up. And when it wakes up, things felt different. And it shakes its body. And things still felt different. And it shakes its body a second time and then a third time. And on that third time, when it shakes its body, it lifts up off the lily pad. And it starts to, fly around this way and that way from the lily pad. And it makes its way up into the blue sky with little speckles of white clouds here and there. And that water bug had become a dragonfly. That dragonfly darts this way and that way all along the surface of the pond and makes it, up over some of the trees, around the pond. And then all of a sudden, when it circles back around and it comes down low on the pond again, it sees the little lily pad where it had fallen asleep. And not only does it see the lily pad where it had fallen asleep, but it glances down into the water and it sees all these little dots moving around this way and that way. And all of a sudden, the dragonfly remembers. It remembers that agreement that it had to go back and tell the other water bugs. So it starts to dive down into the water, and it dives down into the water, little splash, but it can't get back down in there. It dives back down toward the water, little splash again, but it can't get back down in there. So, what's the dragonfly to do? It still continued then its work, its joy of flying around this way and that way in its whole new world. And it knew that someday all the other little water bugs, well, they'd become dragonflies too, someday. And then, like that dragonfly, they'd know what it was all about.